Back to American Christian or Christian American. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this channel so you can get the videos faster, and please press that like button. It helps more people be able to see the videos. And just a little reminder, I haven't reminded people in the past few episodes to go back to episode 1 if you haven't seen the earlier videos. Maybe I'm not as polished back then, but they give you some groundwork of how I started this, because the background information is really relevant to today. Because the problems that we have gone through in this country didn't start here. They started earlier on, and they started about telling lies all the way from the beginning of creation. Now, the lies weren't created then, but the lies were about back then. So I talk about who the first people were. They didn't look like me, but that doesn't make me any less. So if you haven't seen them, please go through them, at least a few of them, and so you can get a little more background. Today, we're going to be talking about this, the Green Book. First, I have a clip for you to watch, and then we'll talk about it more.
Imagine this. It's the 1930s and you're on a road trip. You're excited, but there's a big problem. If you're black in America, traveling isn't safe. Many hotels, restaurants, and gas stations won't serve you. Worse, some towns are downright dangerous. Enter Victor Hugo Green, a quiet hero with a big idea. Victor was a mailman in New York City, but he dreamed of making travel easier and safer for African Americans. Inspired by guides used by Jewish travelers, he created something groundbreaking in 1936, the Negro Motorist Green Book. The Green Book was a lifeline. It listed hotels, restaurants, and other businesses where black travelers were welcomed. It wasn't just about finding food or a place to sleep. It was about dignity and freedom. Victor's guide grew quickly. It spread across the U.S. and even reached Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. For decades, it helped families explore the world without fear. Victor's work changed lives. He didn't fight with marches or speeches. He used his pen. And thanks to his vision, millions of black Americans could travel with confidence and pride. Victor Hugo Green proved that sometimes the biggest heroes are those who simply help others find their way.
All right, so the copy I've got here is from 1938, and it says basically from the east of the Mississippi, but it expanded. So think about this. Now, I don't know how much bigger I got this got, but I've got a copy from 1938. Look at this. See how few pages it is? And yet, it was invaluable. But I want you to think. Think of your life today, and traveling to the places you want to go was restricted to these few pages. And yet this was an absolute necessity and a joy to have if you were African American in this country. Think of it. You go traveling. Pretty much everybody, because of the Civil Rights Act, especially if you're white. But everybody, for the most part, can travel down the road and go to pretty much any hotel they want to. People make reservations. Some people don't. Some people do hit or miss. If it's a convention in town, things may be booked up. But it's not too big of a deal, because you can go down the road to another place, to another town. I think of how many hotels are out there. Now, if it's a holiday weekend, you might have a little more trouble. You can go to any restaurant you want to. People are, for the most part, going to serve you. There are still areas in the country where people are racist, but they get pointed out easier than they used to. You can get your car fixed in just about any place. Now, I'm not saying there might not be some crooked mechanics or whatever else. But this book here, before civil rights, before it's been 1938 especially, and on all to civil rights, was a lifeline, because African Americans could not go where they wanted to. And other people who are non-white had trouble too, but African Americans really had problems because of racism. And some towns were just downright dangerous. You risk going there for even your life. Now, let's not forget, too, African Americans just traveling on the road itself need to obey every law down to the T, because If they didn't and they were pulled over, you never know what's going to happen with the racist police force we have in this country, or had. And we still have to some degree, but not like it was. How would you feel if you were restricted? And in particular, if you're white, how do you think you would feel if this thin book, and I'm sure it got a little bit bigger, but regardless of that, you know, for a city with phone books, if you still look at a paper phone book or what we did in the past 20 years, the phone book was like that thick. Of course, we use more digital today, but it's just the idea. And look at this. This thin little book. Double it, triple it, quadruple it, it's still a small book. But it's absolutely necessity. And it was an absolutely joyful thing to get. This one man put it together. Some ideas from other people, but he put it together. He obviously had to get in contact with all these people, or he had to get people around him who knew, because they traveled there, to understand that these establishments would take care of African American travelers. That for the most part, they may not have to worry. It doesn't mean that there might be a problem here and there. But for the most part, these were trusted businesses that African Americans could depend on. We take it for granted today that you just go to some place. You have to worry about the crooks and whatever else and whether they're good quality or not. But we don't, especially white Americans, don't have to worry about the color of our skin when we go places. Now, there's still racism out here. It most certainly hasn't gone away. We've been talking about that. But we have made a step forward. And why this is something that should be cherished, because it's a historical part of our history. It's historical. I'm glad that people don't have to, my friends don't have to carry this book, this thin little book, to make sure they're going to be safe. That doesn't mean that every establishment is going to treat you right. But isn't it an improvement? Let me ask you this. You want to go back to this? See, we think that we've just moved on, and when you move on, you don't go back. That's not true. When history is forgotten, it's destined to repeat itself. When people become apathetic about what's going on, it's destined to repeat itself. When people don't stand up for a little injustice, it grows. When people elect a president with 34 convictions who has no intention of doing anything to help anybody else, they've opened the door. What injustices have occurred already? And what will come unless people really stand up? Oh, there's a lot of white Americans now standing up. Are they standing up against racism? Some. But there are many who are standing up because now the government's talking about hitting their Social Security, their Medicaid, their Medicare. But too many of them voted for the man. They didn't think he would ever touch their stuff. But you see, we are all tied in this together. So the people who really believe, who want to stand against racism, white, black, and otherwise, are we standing up? Are we pushing forward? Or do we want to have to publish another Green Book? People say it's impossible for these things to happen again. Is it? But there are people who stand up for things today. True. But if they are small in numbers, they can be wiped out. Whether we're talking actually killing them or simply putting them back. It depends on how long we wait to stand. It also depends on how long real Christians wait to stand. Because we know that white Christian nationalism will never stand for the right things. They will stand for the structure of power and greed and segregation. So when will people who say they really worship God take a stand? I don't know. I'm trying to take a stand right now with this podcast, and I talk to people. I'm sure there's more I could do, but I'm trying to do something. You ask yourself, I can't ask you. Ask yourself, what am I doing? What can I do? Have I even said that a racist joke isn't funny? Or do I just laugh it off and laugh with them because you feel uncomfortable? When will we all take a stand? This is not going to be long. I probably already stretched it long enough. This is just for you to think. When will we? Until the next time on American Christian or Christian American.